So much for joining this session. All right, so we have just concluded the creating a master project with sub project. And the main advantage of creating a sub project is like if we have multiple projects and if we have, for example, multiple teams, multiple project managers, then how can we integrate multiple projects and multiple people's work at one place? That is being done, and still it is used to do with multiple projects but at single person, like once we add all the projects in here, we only can use one single person can use that project. All right, that is being one thing. And it also is within in one computer. It's not very user friendly when you do in with the SharePoint website, or even when you do a control sharing with your LAN network. Does a very good approach in that way. So once we have multiple projects and we can only use them in one single system. But what if the main question is how to manage one single project by multiple project managers. For example, I'm sitting in one city and I am managing a project. Then we have also included a team member that is also from other city or other team, or you can say other contractor or consultant, and we want to have an integrated software management system so that our one single project can be managed by multiple teams, or they can populate their results accordingly. So how to do such scenarios? For this scenario, we have to learn a little bit more advanced features of MS Project and Microsoft Online. So we will be diverting ourselves from Microsoft desktop application to the more advanced online cloud versions like Microsoft Planner, like Planner 1, Planner 3, Planner 5, and we will dig out each of them at what we can use and what is the best use for and when we can use each of them. So let's dive into that place. Okay, before going into that, what first of all, what we need to do is we need to do one research, and I'm doing in front of you so that you can also learn about that. That what are the main system or the main features of Microsoft Project Online available. So we just need to write Microsoft Project Plan comparisons. Okay, we just write this at Google, and this is the first link from the Microsoft. Compare all planner option and prices. Once you open that, you will see the compare work management offering that are offered by Microsoft team. Okay, so ultimately the goal is to manage multiple stakeholders, multiple team members within one single project, just like we do in Google Sheet, just like we do in the Google Drive work. Like one single sheet can be utilized at same time with multiple users. So kind of the same thing we can do in project with a slightly different approach, but for that we cannot do that in the Microsoft desktop application that we were using, something like that. We cannot use it, we cannot share it, we cannot add any particular member. These are the certain resources that can be only be utilized as non-human, non physical resource. We can add any particular person there, but Tom is not somewhere necessary to be sitting somewhere. So that is a desktop application. But in case we have a legitimate source, we have a physical source sitting somewhere, and we are assigning to them so that he can also get a notification that I have been assigned by my project manager to defining the project scope, that is 1 day and 7.3 to 7.3. So that is something doable with a Microsoft Cloud version. Let us go dive into that part. So if we see compare a work management offering, so we see that we have subscription plan available, and the first of all is a Microsoft Planner, and that particular planner is also included in Microsoft 365 license. If you have like Microsoft 365 simple license, you can have that one as free. It is also available within that part. Okay, so let's go into that one, that what actually is a Microsoft Planner. The idea of this session is like we will learn a little bit about each of them, that what is good, when we can use them, and how you can use them. Okay, so first of all is the Microsoft Planner. Let's discuss about its advantages and disadvantages first. Okay, so this is the Microsoft Planner advantage and disadvantage screen. Here we can see that the advantages of Microsoft Planner are were definitely very simple to use. It's really simple. It's just straightforward. It has a virtual task management system. You can have a Kanban boards in there. It is integrated in Microsoft 365, obviously, because it is a part of Microsoft 365. We can do assigning of the team. Again, when you talk about assigning with the team, that means that we have to have a physical member available for that one, that we can assign someone and he gets a notification to work on. Also, we can also access that into a web app and mobile app. We have Android app as well, we have iOS app as well for that one, and it also a cost effective because we are not paying anything extra within outside of the Microsoft Calendar. But these are the main advantages of the plan. We also do the Microsoft plan in this next vision. Just let's quickly go through with it. So if we talk about the disadvantages, that we cannot create some desired views in the Microsoft Planner. Like we cannot have a Gantt chart in there. That is very big disadvantage of that one. Like we cannot have multiple team planners. That we cannot have resource utilization. We cannot have resource usage. We cannot have like a grid view. We cannot, sorry, we cannot have a network diagram view that we learn in the basic MS Project software courses. Also, there's no task dependencies. We cannot link multiple activities with one another. Like the whole sum of the Gantt chart we discussed in the desktop application is the dependencies that we learn to that we cannot do in there. Also, it has a limited remoting, like it only have like 3 to 4 views. Like we'll just dive into that, and after that one, not suitable for complex project. Like it is made for a very simple and straightforward and crystal clear projects. Like these are the tasks, these are the resources, these are the timelines, and we just collaborate one another, and that if task is done, mark it done. If not done, just proceed it to the new bucket. We also cannot put like multiple kind of different percentages. So that's why it's not very recommendable for the complex projects. Next one, no time tracking or resource management. Like we can do assignment of the resources, but we cannot assign a very good way for the resource management. Yes, there's a one graph in the Microsoft Planner that is useful for resource management, but again, if you want to deep dive into resource management, like a resource leveling thing, like what resources available and when is available, which resources over allocated, such a thing are not doable in the Microsoft Planner. And last one, that basic customization. Obviously, it does not allow multiple customization. Yes, we can do a Power Automate kind of a thing. Like it is doable because it's a part of Microsoft 365. So that means that we can customize it with the Microsoft Power Apps. But again, it lacks severe, I would say, uh, synchronization issue. Like the main thing is that it is not linked. It cannot link with a Microsoft desktop application. Like if you talk about the planner, that cannot be linked with a Microsoft uh, project desktop as a whole project. You can have one single task in there and that you can plan and transfer to the planner, but as whole project, we cannot do a synchronization in there. With respect to the basic customization, specifically if we talk about synchronization, we can do a synchronization with Microsoft Teams. Obviously, that is doable. Within Microsoft Teams, we can open the planner, but it lacks major other customization within that platform. So let us quickly go through a little bit about the Microsoft Planner in actual screen, like what its interface look like and how it actually works with that. Okay, as we said that it is a part of Microsoft 365, so we just open our Microsoft 365 app. Okay, here we have in our Microsoft 365. Okay, so what we need to do is we just need to go into the planner. So planner must be somewhere here. Here you can see we have a planner. And I just have opened the Microsoft 365 simple subscription method. Okay, so it is available in there. Okay, this is the first interface you will see of the planner. All of your projects are basically just like this one. You have like multiple projects. It's simply as available with respect to this buttons, these sliders, and you can also have these projects here. You can add one more task. For example, I want to add another project. So what we need to do is we need to have to create a new project, new plan, and there are some simple systems available like we want to do a project management. It gives us a different buckets. Simple plan, software development, it gives us a multiple task in there. Employee onboarding, it again has a task list in there. Business plans again has a task in there. So let's go through with a new blank projects. We can name our project. For example, we can name this project advanced course. And if you have already some members in there, we can assign those members in there. Like within existing, if you have multiple groups available within your Microsoft Teams and Admin Center, you can assign that to your particular group as well. So it will automatically link with that particular group in there. And if you can also manage the sensitivity, like if you want to private the project or public the project. Let's go with the public for this one. I'm not going to add any particular group. Just create. Okay. Okay, so this is the interface of a project when it gets open. We can see that we have a course title there, and we have some to-do task and buckets. So currently we are automatically by default at a board view. Let's go through with the available views in there. This is a board view, we discussed that. Then we have a grid view. Grid view, you can say again kind of a similar thing, that we have multiple columns there. We have a title, assignments, like who is doing the work, start date, due date, which bucket it belongs to. Belongs or bucket, you can call it like a summary task list that comes under the task that we talk about the Microsoft desktop application. What is the progress, it started, it's not started, and what is the priority. Okay, so these are some of the tasks that are available within the grid view. We also have a chart view. That's a good thing, which automatically updates whatever we do in the grid and board view. Like if we have a completion, it automatically shows within that particular. Then we have a schedule. With a schedule, we anticipate that it should give us a Gantt chart, but surprisingly, that is not. It only gives us a calendar view of the Microsoft project. Like for example, if we had a Microsoft project and this is the Gantt chart, we know that under task, if you go into view, we have a multiple built-in views available for Microsoft Project desktop app. But within that platform, if we just see the calendar, you can see this is a calendar view. So if you go to the Gantt chart, that is a Gantt chart view, then the desktop application. But Planner does not have a Gantt chart view in there. Not a very good Gantt chart view, you can say that. But we can see a calendar view that is available in that one. And if we want to have addition of more, we can see how we can do some kind of a conversation. We can add members, files. We can have a notebook size, pane, and copy plan to one another, copy plan to here and there. An interesting thing that you may find is like you can export, sorry, you can share your plan link to someone. If he has a subscription, he can open that. He can also edit that. Even if he does not have a subscription, he or she does not have a this subscription, and some tasks are assigned to him or her, he or she can definitely work on that one, but only to those tasks that are assigned to them. Otherwise, they cannot work on those parts. We can also export some parts of it, like the grid view and the board views specifically. We can have that into Excel plan, and we can also do a add plan to the Outlook calendar. That is also very useful. This already have a calendar, but we also can integrate this one within the Microsoft Outlook calendar. We'll just do in a few minutes. Let's have a little bit of a project task in there. Then we talk about how the good it is actually looking. So I'm interested into writing something in the grid view. So let's have the first project. For example, a project. Let's have a task, by the way. So we have a task A. Okay, and as soon as we just write in, it opens a new bucket, new row, and we have a task B, task C, task D. Okay, let's have this one. As you can see that we cannot create a hierarchy, we cannot create a WBS that we used to develop in Microsoft project, just like this one. This is a WBS. Here we can create project, and then initiation. Under initiation, we can see a multiple kind of a project, and we are actually developing a hierarchy of that one. But in Planner, we cannot create a hierarchy. What we can do is, if we open a particular task, for example, sorry, if we just open the open details, we can have this checklist item there. Like if task one has some certain items for the checklist, check check A, for example, check B. So that are a checklist, or you can say a subtask of the task one, task A. But we cannot also assign a separate responsible person to those one. Again, referring to the project, we can assign different resource management to the subtasks as well. Also assign their individual duration and the timelines. But in planner we can just name them. Okay, these are the sub parts, sub task list of the task A. For example, this one A, this B, this C, and we can have something like that shown card. It will automatically shown card. And when we open a detailed task in there, you can assign someone. For example, currently I'm the only member in my subscription, where I can assign myself. Okay, you can add any particular label if you really wanted to, and which bucket it actually goes to. Bucket is again a different view in a planner. Currently, we only have one bucket to do. We will be opening more buckets. We can add a progress, either it is started or like not started, in progress or completed. What is the priority? It's urgent, important, medium, low. Like you can see, it has all the basic information with respect to the task and project. Okay, everything that is covered within the kind of CRM thing, like just like we talk about. ERP communication system within the project environment, that is something this one. Also, we can add some certain notes in there. We can add some certain attachments in there. Any specific comment that you would like to write to someone, you can also do that. And these are some of the SharePoint links. And if you want to add any particular activity with respect to Excel, also it just gives on giving a few suggestions there. And something like that, we can do this, and that is goes with the project A. Okay, task A. Same does if you want to open the details of the task B, we have to go in there and we have to fill something like that. And if you talk about the assignments and the start date, you can also put the start date. It has a very good calendar view, just like this one. For example, this starts on 9/16 and goes by 9/23. And which bucket is this to come to? Let's have some buckets, by the way. So for buckets, we need to go into the board. Currently, we only have a one bucket. Let's have another bucket, and item is like in progress. Okay, and I have another bucket for like completed. I have another bucket for like, you can also name it any different kind of name. For example, for Air Force. Okay, simply you can have something like that. And you have task in there, and you want to move the task D into the Air Force, just like that you can do there. Okay, I want to do the task B in progress. I want to have a task B has completed. So something I have, once we call it a completed, we have to mark this as completed. Okay, so that gets completed, shows as completed. Okay, that is like crossed in web. If you go back to my grid view, we can see a different schematics. Like we have a different buckets in there. We put a start date, we put a progress in there. We can add a priority. Like this is gets an urgent view. Okay, and let's move to the chart view. That is a really good thing. If you go into the chart view, you can see a number of different graphs are available within its environment. Like with the status, we have three tasks left, one is completed, and this is the number of buckets which each have tasks. Let's have another task, by the way. So I add another task in there, task D. Okay, so let's see the charts view. You can see now it has two tasks, rest of them has one task. We can also add some tasks within that environment here as well. Okay, and then we talk about the priority, which is urgent, which is medium, like basic simple graphics that available to that one. And this is the word that we are referring to. We can see a resource management graph that we are talked about. We can do something like that. What are the tasks that undersigned, how many tasks are assigned to which resource. Okay, and then if you talk about the schedule, so this is all about the schedule. Like A has been planned from here to here, there must be somewhere the B task as well. Okay, and if you talk about the next month, for example, we want to see October. Okay, I think we did not have assigned some dates. So that's all about the project. You can say a Microsoft Planner. Let's have another one good thing is if you just want to go to the add plan to the Outlook calendar, if you just press that, it says that don't publish, keep private, or publish. Like we have to do a certain things like it is public or it is not public, because ultimately that defines the calendar feeds there. So let's have keep publish, don't publish, keep private, and let's have a publish, by the way. Once we do that, it gives us add to Outlook. Okay, so we do this and also have a link in there. Just we do the Outlook. It automatically transforms you to your Outlook management, and you can see now Outlook will have a simple calendar just like the calendar available in there. But that is the good thing is that this calendar is useful within the Outlook environment now. Okay, so you can use that particular project calendar with Outlook, and you can mail your certain teams, you can mail your certain uh, teams to work on different updates, different progresses, and all those stuff. So that's all about the project plan. We have just covered one particular aspect of Planner, which is like included in Microsoft 365. Rest of them we will be covering in the next video. Thank you so much for joining.